My name is Joey Hoegger. I'm the manufacturer of the Hoegger Milking System, a milking system designed by my father, Joe Hoegger Sr. We've got a lot of questions and a lot of emails that pertain to the cleaning of the system, and I'm going to demonstrate how simple it is to clean this milking system today. The first thing we have to do is remove the end caps from the vacuum reserve tank. First end cap, wing nut. Second end cap. Set these aside. Now we have access to the filter end of the pump. And we're going to take off these glass jars. Set these aside. We're going to remove the filters. This is the intake side of the system. These filters can be cleaned with soap and water on the intake side. The exhaust side of the pump, these are the exhaust filters. We'll remove these. This is threaded on, and this side has a small plastic cap that retains. This side has to be actually removed so you can have the filters out. The exhaust side, these filters can be cleaned with lacquer thinner or paint thinner, any kind of petroleum distillate. These filters should be changed once a year, twice a year depending on dusty environments and usage, but definitely once a year. Now we're going to take the pump end off. There are 6 3/8 bolts, and so we're going to extract these bolts. This is the rotor, this is the collar, and these are the vanes. And the vanes are what we're going to remove to clean. When you remove them, note the angle on the vane. There's no numerical order for these 4 vanes to go back in, but this bevel has to be placed back in to match the circumference of the pocket that it rides in. And so we're simply going to remove these 4 vanes. To clean these vanes, we're going to use a toothbrush and just soap and water. Dish detergent is fine. Never use anything but soap and water to wash the pump or to clean the vanes. If you use a petroleum distillate, it'll compromise the material that the vanes are made out of, and they'll decay and swell, and they'll stick inside of these slots, and it'll stop your pump from functioning. So never use anything but soap and water or oil to clean this pump area out. After reinserting the vanes, we're going to put a generous amount of oil on this rag, and we're going to wipe some oil on the pump face, and we're going to wipe some oil into the cavity. You can't put too much oil in. Any excess oil will simply be expelled into the exhaust jar. We'll also take the pump end and we'll put some oil on it. Once we've oiled all surfaces well, we're simply going to reattach the pump end. When replacing the pump end, we want to be sure that this collar sits into the rabbet around the pump end. It has to be seated properly. There are no seals in this pump. The tolerance of the metals is what creates the seals, and so everything has to fit perfect, as you can see. We want these bolts snug, but we don't want to over tighten and strip the bolts. As I had said before, the machining tolerances are what creates the vacuum seal. There are no seals, just the machining tolerances are what creates the seal within the pump. While we have the end caps removed, we're going to wipe out the inside of this tank and clean it. Take a rag, and you can put soap and water. Grease lightning works very, very well for this particular cleaning procedure. And we would just put the cleaning solution on here and wipe out the inside of this tank. Be sure you wipe it all the way through. Access both ends. As you can see, the cleaning procedure of this machine is so simple. The end caps are off, and you just simply wipe through the end of the tank, and then we're going to reassemble in just a moment. Now we're going to replace our cleaned filters. As I had said, this is the exhaust side. And this gets threaded into the exhaust jar cap. Hand tightening is enough. And now our cleaned intake filters. Now simply replace the jars. Now we're going to replace the end caps. If you see that your machine is losing vacuum, this may be one of the culprits. These vacuums are rubber and they are susceptible to dry rot and age. And so if you see these things becoming compromised, you can visually inspect them. If you see them becoming compromised, you can call Hoegger Supply Company and order a gasket kit for all of the gaskets that go with this machine, and these will be in that kit. Be sure you seat this black gasket against the end cap so that it seats on the end of the tank entirely, and inspect it all the way around to be sure that it's seated properly. Then we'll put the opposing cap on, the opposite side of the tank, making sure that this O-ring is also seated properly all the way around the tank and against the end cap. Our rubber washer for seal, our metal washer for compression, and our wing nut for attachment. And after re-inspecting the seals and snugging down our wing nut, it seems that I've got everything sealed up quite nicely. We get a lot of questions about this little oil jar here. It's not necessary to open this lid and place a funnel to fill this oil jar. You just simply remove the jar, fill it with your straight 10 weight high detergent non-synthetic oil, and then replace it. After removing the pulsator, we want to take a rag and wipe the inside of this clean and dry. Don't ever use lubricants. This has to stay clean and dry. Oil will cause, any lubricants will cause dust to be attracted into this shaft. We want to make sure that all of these orifices are clean inside of the plunger. We want to be sure that the orifice at the bottom of the pulsator base is clear, and the 5/16 stainless steel tubes are also clear. And now we'll reassemble the pulsator assembly. Just snug, and now we'll plug the pulsator back into the control box. And so as you can see, the maintenance of this system is very, very simple. And if you do this a couple of times a year, keep it lubricated, keep it clean, keep it dry, your children will be using this milking system, and my son will be maintaining it for you. Our family, the Hoeggers, have been in the goat dairy business since 1935. So I would like to express our gratitude for your business And please feel free to call us with any questions that you might have regarding all of our products.